Yeah.
You just
Oh, it's working.
point, shoot.
You just have to, press that red button.
Come in.
Yeah, we've got the red button on.
I'll tell you. There you go. You don't
You are?
Like pulled out my shorts as far as I could.
Like,
Like this is wearing shorts.
Look at this Mexican comes to Indonesia with a guitar, and the first thing he does is buys a beer.
Yeah, you can't take the Mexican out of me.
take the Mexican out of Mexico.
Anybody have any impressions of the day? Rosaria? Yeah. What did you think about the intensity of the day?
I thought it was good. I'm a little tired. I'm excited for tomorrow. Still feel like we're getting conflicting information.
I think we should. The impression I got from Buddy is that they really want to bring the water from the cliff to the village, basically.
Yeah.
And even from Digda, they were saying that maybe Rosario asked him, like, what was their priority? Drinking
Like
water.
if you had to choose one, drinking water or agriculture.
Yeah, they would say they'd probably choose
And he said
agriculture.
agriculture. He said they're used to drinking brackish water.
But then he said that long term they would love to have a pump from the cliff.
Well, and I was talking about, which I thought was interesting, the idea of having multiple, like, backup plans that could potentially, if something goes wrong while they're trying to fix it, something else could take over, so they don't have to wait 3 months, actually. They won't have 3 months for that water because people are trying to fix things and get parked. Drink water there.
Okay,
So I think that was also
I thought it was very interesting also that when they basically talk all the time about the cliff, right? You know, we have resources, they're all on the cliff, and then the steps in the cliff. I don't know, I think I have this vision of like just getting all engineering on that cliff, like measuring discharge rates and height differences and trying to figure out how we can tap into those 3 different water sources and bring them to the villages, because apparently it's not one village, right? It's
just multiple villages.
multiple villages.
I think Anam was saying that it serves 4 villages.
4 villages?
Yeah.
The map that
We'll
was
see.
sent out. Did you send that map out? It was,
Yeah.
It had images of like settlements all over the island.
Yeah.
So it was just like all over the place, you know. And I imagine that the problem is probably similar for all of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Just
So-
for the record, Darrell is not naked. You looked really naked. You look really naked from this angle.
Completely naked.
Yeah. We've already progressed that far.
We're that tight.
One interesting thing I thought was that they talked about like they divided it into 2 problems, like getting the water up from the cliff and also distribution,
Yeah.
which was something new. I guess they don't have any distribution system.
Yeah.
Interesting. You guys saw the photo of that blue tank to see like where that is going or what people do with that blue tank.
It'll also be interesting to know a little bit more about what they're doing in terms of agriculture. They're saying that that's their main source right now, right? Like, especially the ones that don't have like fishery. To see what kind of setup they have and what they're using for irrigation.
Did they say agriculture or livestock?
So right now they have like low value crops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Their thing that they're most proud of is their livestock and their seaweed farming.
I guess I'm confused because I think what I gathered from that talk was that the main source of income for them was their livestock, right?
Yeah, that's what I got also.
I think it's either
So
that or
seaweed.
seaweed. It might be seaweed. I mean, everybody I've talked to this past week has said like that's where the seaweed comes from.
Okay.
Well,
It's
I
like
will-
known for its
yeah.
seaweed.
I just got the sense that agriculture really wasn't.
My one thing with agriculture was that he was saying they're spending any money they have, they're spending on getting food from the mainland, and it's super expensive. So I just wonder if the reason why there isn't big agriculture is because of the water shortage, and if you could also help the idea, like, if they're poor in part because they have to spend all their money on importing food. So if they have the resources to actually create agriculture there, so they don't have to import it. That could also
It'd
be.
be like double addition of wealth. So they're getting their own high value crops to sell and also not importing.
True. All right.
It'd be interesting to see these other two springs too, where you have to use climbing equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really, really excited about that.
Yeah. One thing, like, Pooty and I were making eye contact when he was explaining that part and, like, raising eyebrows because he was talking about people falling. And that was one thing that Pooty did not translate for the rest of the group.
The same thing happened. Remember when
With the
when
boat, too.
yeah when I think it was Digda was talking about installing the tidal power plant,
Mhm.
and he said that they almost lost 3 men in the process. And Pooty's like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, no, don't tell him that.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, Pooty.
I don't have to speak in
Yeah.
Concerned with us taking the more traditional boat and not the ferry. So he said if they get overcrowded at times, it can be unsafe, and the current is so strong, it's like really dangerous.
Dude, those boats are terrifying.
Yeah.
I've never,
They just
yeah.
have, like, the outrigger and then the waves hit it and it, like, hits the, like, there's just big pieces of bamboo on each side of the boat. And so that's what's keeping it stable. Except the bamboo, like, dips underwater and the edge of the boat, like, gets really close to the water, and I don't know. It's
But
like
is
not
that-
something we want to be doing.
But that's not the one we're taking though.
We're taking the nice one.
The big one. Oh,
big
okay.
one, yeah.
All right. So what was your big takeaway from today?
Big takeaway.
And then just like 20 seconds.
I think it's good that we're here with Rebecca now, and we're also with the endorsement of the government. It seems like it's very, like, my big takeaway was just how much attention the government has given this place already. And that's going to really affect what we do, see what's been done already and why it was unsustainable, and try to come up with a solution based on what's already been done. So we didn't even know before this, for a few days ago, that there was a pump there, right? Like, that was a surprise to me when we saw that. So building on the government's already poorly done, poor efforts at helping.
How did you guys feel when she goes? So all these ministers have tried one after the other. Like presidents changed, and like so many people have tried and not been able to do it. Get their reaction.
How are we different?
I would say, building on what John said and answering that question, I think it's going to be a really great learning experience. That's what I really gathered from it, was that, like, it's almost like a case study where we get to see, all these other people who've tried. What did they do incorrectly? What did they do that didn't make this sustainable? Like, from what I gathered, it seemed to be that people would come in, use this as a political tool, give them something that wasn't sustainable in the long term, and then like walk away and it would break. So really getting to like flesh out, what's going to make us different, like you just asked, will be really interesting. But I don't know. I think it's a great opportunity to look at something and say, look, a bunch of stuff's been tried. Maybe some of it would have worked if someone had actually put in the extra, infrastructure necessary to keep it going.
Rosaria? Think about what you want to say to Emilie about today. Just really quick.
God, 20 seconds. Would have been nice
Wish
to
there was
have
someone
her
to share
here.
the bed with you.
Yeah. Well, no, not really. I don't know myself. No, I think it would have been nice to have her here too. But I'm excited to. I don't know. Be excited to like go back and share it with her.
Yes,
I'm excited. She's very inquisitive, so
Yeah.
she's gonna really draw a lot of information out of us.
I'm also excited to see her ask questions that maybe like in the moment we're not thinking about. To bring like a different perspective too from not being here.
True.
And you, sir?
And me. I guess today, from what you were saying, that a lot of people have tried this before, hasn't worked. I guess we try to develop this more. Because we don't have any of that, political needs, inclinations. So from an engineering perspective, it's a very simple problem to solve as far as you size the pump, you size the pipes, you size the cistern, you size the distribution system, but you have to sort of develop a system in a financially to keep that working because they don't have the parts to work the pump. So, but I think I like a lot of what we talked about today with Buddy, because I feel
Buck Buddy.
Oh,
Just for your reference.
For Pac is just like Rooster.
Puck Buddy.
Yeah,
Okay, Puck Buddy.
Honorific.
Okay. I guess what I'm excited about is the fact that I felt like some of the things were very vague, and now I feel that at least part of it is very, very approachable, and I'm really, really excited about that.
Sweet.
I was just wondering, I'll be curious to see how much the villagers were actually spoken to before the other projects happen. And I think we also need to make sure that we, at least you guys come with more engineering, like you see a problem with the BOA. I want to make sure that we also spend enough time up front just talking to people without jumping right to engineering and pumping, just to make sure, because I worry that those are in part why things failed, is because they didn't either get the buy-in or get, just like listening to people. I mean, they've lived their whole life there. I'm sure they have ideas or they have things they want to make sure we listen to them first.
Yeah.
And release our ideas and our agenda. And
No, but
then
that's a good
come in.
point because the people doing the projects didn't live there. Like they're just people from Jakarta and like subsequent presidents and things, and they've set them up for conferences and they're just kind of showing off. And it seems like even Akbadi himself like doesn't remember the name of the guy who is in charge of the Kecamatan of Nusa Penida, which is like the governorship of Nusa Penida. He doesn't know the guy's name. And so it's like, well, maybe he's not that familiar with what the people are thinking there. So we go in with that kind of attitude, and you know, like the people we met today who claim to know a lot about the island, they don't live there, obviously, like they live here, and so it'll be nice to talk to people who are living there and see what the deal is day to day.
Cool. Alright, do you have anything else?
I think we should.
They definitely didn't think of the.
Keep these videos short.
Alright, Emily. That's what you got.
Emily, I miss you.
Yes, we do.